Yes, sir.
Good. So, okay, let's start from where we have postponed yesterday. Now, in the last class, it's supposed to be the last class for you. Let me share you the slide. A lot of things going on here. Epidemiology. So do you see the slides? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have started with epidemiology. Now we are focusing mainly on of plant diseases, with the objective of that after the class you'll understand the significance, we'll have some idea about what it is and some methodologies forecasting, and then empirical fundamentals for collecting data, and what kind of more we talked, I think yesterday. Is it yesterday? Is it, what section are you in? B section?
Yes, sir.
Can you say that, is it B section or C section or what?
Sir, B section.
B section.
Yes, sir. Section B.
So I think so. It's not, we're not yet here. We have to go back. Did I discuss? Let me check my. Let me check my epidemic model. Oh. So this is your 5th class, right?
Yes, sir.
I got it. No, I have to start from the beginning, from here, forecasting of plant diseases, not the other one. Sorry, making mistakes. So what does that mean? When you're not focused on something, you're bound to mistakes. That's what happened with me. I was just doing something official work in class or at the beginning of the class, then my mind was just, flying in the sky. I'm still not here in the ground. So let's get back again. Have the epidemiology part, epidemiology, and then comes the forecasting, the principles of forecasting, and the knowledge of the epidemiology, and the factors we have discussed all will be useful here. And then forecasting is a practical aspect of using the epidemiology knowledge and theory and model, and to come to a practical way of predicting disease and giving recommendations to the farmers. So as you can see the figure here in my first slide, that there is a data bank. The data bank is the data repository, you could say, data repository or depository, whatever you say. So you deposit the data here, and the data comes from farmers, field observation, and plant disease epidemic models, and weather data, and farmers basic I think it's not only, it could be other experimenter or scientist. They develop them, they get the data. So this data are processed and give the final correlation or regression equation and then predict the outcome of the occurrence of disease. Finally, it recommends to the farmer that treat your crop or don't go for treatment or do not treat, ask for more information to feed. So this is basically the whole forecasting system. So we have to go little slowly and one by one. So what it is and why is it necessary and what things are involved when we go for forecasting. So this is where we stand today. And then again, I'm saying at the end of the course, the topic, you'll get the concept of forecasting, you'll know the significance, and you'll know the methodologies involved in it, and the several forecasting models, and then the roles of the organizations, for example, your university, or maybe other research institute, what role could they play to make forecasting in place. So with this objective, I stated for several learning outcomes again, the similar the epidemiology class. I always give you the learning outcomes so that we can assess ourselves at the end. Did we achieve that? So we are happy with that. If not, there would be problem in the content or the delivery of teaching, or maybe your own hard work. So your concentration and attention. So either one or both interact may make the outcome. So explain. So you should be able to explain the concept and the significance of plant disease forecasting at the end. So point that out, and then you identify key factors and data requirements, or it's not data requirements, the requirements or the preconditions of for successful forecasting model. And then you differentiate between the empirical and fundamental. Well, what is the difference between these two approaches? And then you will be able to explain some models, including rule-based model, some mathematical and statistical model, and computer simulations. Have some idea so you can elaborate the concept, not go for whole lot of fine level of description of what it is, but at least some level of understanding, then you write something on it. So because of the time and because of the level you are in, you don't have to go too deep. So, and then you should be able to outline the major steps involved in how would you develop a model, forecasting model, what are the steps involved, and then you'd be able to identify the functions or responsibilities or duties or responsibilities of DAE, Department of Agricultural Extension, BAU, you know that, and other research organization, to how would they help to make an epidemic, to make a forecasting model. So lecture 1, this is the first of its kind, and here we target for three learning outcomes today. At the end, we'll assess, did we achieve that? You assess yourself, is called self-assessment. I assess self, did I or have I been able to provide that? So because you see online class really tough to see your face because face tells a lot. Either you're getting my lecture, you don't probably have to explicitly ask, but in the online class, most of you hide your slide, your face, you can't really see it. Even if no one is here, it's tough to say for me that either you're here or not. But I trust you because you're adult students. You're already in age. You cannot skip yourself, give, and then here. So what is forecasting? First of all, we need to define it. What is forecasting? As always, the definition comes first. So one can define a thing in many different ways, but it has the main key points in your definition. So it's the process. It's the process that is used to predict the occurrence of disease in a specific region or crop. To remind the word predict, because forecasting is predicting. So it's not predicting, it's not just predicting, it's true, is by analyzing various factors of disease occurrences. So we analyze those factors we have discussed in epidemiology. And then it provides the farmers with timely and accurate information. So look, timely and correct information, not the wrong information. But forecasting what kind of information is to apply or not to apply fungicide at a particular time point. And then we do it to prevent crop losses. This is the definition here. And then we move further. Why is it necessary? Why do we need it? What's for? We can ask, definitely you should ask what for. Look at the thing here in the graph. Disease, this is a rough estimate. The overall disease could make 20% of crop loss. It's an mean, always necessarily present the truth, because for some diseases, for some crop, it might go for 100% loss. Some other, it might be 10%, 1%, or even no loss. So it's an estimate in an annual crop loss in a country in a year. So 20% is not very less, it's a huge. Insect even more in some cases. So weeds even further a lot. So look at the percentage of yield loss. So that's why the economics or the financial thing is involved here. So it reduces economic impact of plant diseases because it advocates for controlling control measures, and then reduces the cost of disease control. How do you do it? Because you precisely give the farmers information to apply fungicide at the right time and the right kind of fungicide in the right doses. So that reduces the amount rather than, without, any control, any amount of fungicide farmers may use that might not give the precise amount of fungicide. And then safety. Do you hear me back?
Yes, sir.
Please mute your phone. or your whatever you device you use, when you talk with me, we'd like to talk. On online class, you have a lot of flexibility here, and you can just unmute and just directly point me. And then you have, if you even don't like to talk, just post anything on the box out or at the end. Then I say to every class, I forgot to tell you in the beginning, anytime you can ask question, any person, anytime you find difficulty understanding it, difficulty getting things, you should raise voice, and unless you do it, it's tough for me to figure out. Okay, so safety is the concern. By forecasting, it minimizes use of pesticides and fungicides. How? Because it gives bright time and information, and then it reduces exposure to harmful chemicals. Obviously, it does it, and then avoid phytotoxic effect. Phototoxic effects of pesticide. Is it phototoxic? It's supposed to be phytotoxic. I don't know. It's supposed to be phytotoxic. What do you think?
See.
No one answered that?
Phytotoxic, sir.
Phytotoxic. Yeah, it's supposed to be phytotoxic, I guess, but I don't know why is it here. I never, this is the third class with you. I did not check. Not phototoxic. Okay. And the use of pesticides, justified use of pesticide. Could someone explain that? What does that really mean? Someone I can see, Prince or Pink, or what? Prince.
Yes, sir.
So can we explain this term here, justified use of pesticides?
Mm,
How does
No.
it correlate with the forecasting, the necessity of forecasting?
Sorry, sir. I
What?
don't know. Sorry, sir.
Anyone else? You don't have to say sorry. You can say, you know what is justified use of, right? Why you say sorry even you have tried, you tried it or you have started trying. So anything you come, you at least start something. This floor is open. It's no right and wrong answer. It's the answer you give based on your idea. So as I said, the my was, how is, we said we are talking about the necessity of forecasting. In the second term, we said it reduces the amount of pesticide. But at the same time, it kind of more contradictory here. It's a justified use of pesticide. I mean, it's justify using the pesticide. So kind of contradictory here. It reduces, but it says, yes, you use this. So the point here is that, okay, fungicide or pesticide or chemicals, we say as the last resort, as to control the disease or pest. The thing is, organic farming or other kind of farming system, eco-friendly farming would really advocates for not using any chemicals. But yours, if the situation is like that, your forecasting is giving, okay, there is a possibility that the disease is going to be 100%, going to make 100% crop loss. So you cannot just stop and say, no, I don't like chemicals, because it's at the point, unless we apply any chemicals, nothing can help you stop crop loss. So in that case, you counter the argument to the environmentalist or eco-friendly disease management peoples or IDM. I know you start not using chemicals. This is time you have to apply, save your farmers your crop, hundreds of thousands of hectares of crop, or 1 hectare of crop, any amount. So you at least justify the uses of pesticides. I think you got the idea. So this is by minimizing the amount of pesticides and fungicide, farmers can reduce the impact of agriculture on the environment to maintain healthy ecosystem. So this is an important point. So I may ask you a question. Okay, how does forecasting promote ecosystem sustainability? Promotes sustainable ecosystem. And in different way, I can ask you a question. So how does it do it? It reduces the amount of pesticide, and then can elaborate what happens if we apply more pesticide. That will impact soil microbiota, and then that will cause the break on the harmony in the soil, and that is not sustainable. So if we reduces the amount, that we are going towards sustainable agricultural system. And then test, how does forecasting system contribute to the economic benefit of agriculture? How does it do it? Which one would be correct? You can post in chat box.
C.
Is it? Anyone have different idea, different answer? Yes, I got the thing. Okay, so it should be C. By predicting the disease outbreak and optimizing the timing of control, you reduces or you contribute to economic benefits. Okay, good. You did it. So requirements for effective forecasting, disease forecasting. So basically is requirements. When do you go for developing forecasting? It's not for all disease. It's not for every crop. Because if you do it, there will be hundreds of, maybe thousands of diseases you make the forecasting for. You don't need that. The one that are economically significant, that cause huge loss, only you go for forecasting. And the disease that are variable, maybe it's not constant every year in every crop, and only you go for forecasting. It depends on some different kind of factors. So control measures, you have the control measures available for that, so you can give prescription to your farmers. And accurate data collection, yeah, this is a prerequisite. The data has to be accurate. Like the data coming from farmers, if it's not reliable, your model will be faulty. And then the reliable, again, the same thing here. So one is the data, and another is the model you have created by your own statistics and mathematics you used. If we didn't validate the model, if it doesn't work, then it's not reliable. You cannot use that model in practice. And then knowledge on the host and pathogen is the epidemiological preconditions, and then access to the technology. The technology is important to process the data to make the forecasting model, and then it's also useful to go for actual forecasting system. And then collaboration and communications. It means forecasting is not the work of only one person. It's a work of within one domain of science. It's not only plant pathologist. Yes, plant pathologist, but they would need the help of statistician. They would need the help of farmers, extension agents, and the government policymakers, and all the stakeholders involved. They need the effective collaboration to getting the data, processing the data, and then finally predicting the forecasting to the farmers. So a lot of people's in here. So the communications essential, and disease forecasting, how it is. So this is an important question. Now, maybe or overlap here, but just to I will give you a brief at a glance of what are the factors or what information do you need. So here we teach, or we study, or we discuss in the form of the information required, or what kind of data you might require to make a successful forecasting model. It's the same way we discuss the factors of epidemic, because we are forecasting the epidemic of the disease. It's the same thing, but we use different language. Like information required for the forecasting is basically what factors impact the disease epidemic. Because these factors, information of these factors you need. This is how we frame it. So we know we have already discussed disease triangle: host, environment, and pathogens that make disease. So this is the host, pathogen, environment, make a triangle. And what are the host factors again? Let's go a bit repetition here. Host could be susceptibility of host, fecundity. We don't use the fecundity. Okay, we could use fecundity, maybe reproduction, stress tolerance, means health situation here, age, seasonality, seasons, spatial distribution. The one we also discussed some other factors here. And then pathogen, virulence, dispersal, life cycles, and ecology, meaning other reproduction, and we discussed a bit more during the epidemiological factors. Here, the moisture, temperature, soil, human time, blah, 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 a lot of things here. So we have discussed that at length. So these are the information we require. Now, look at here, two important things to measure the disease. To forecast, you definitely need to measure the disease first and see what percentage of disease is infected, plants are infected, and then you give, okay, then what is going to happen in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So two terms we use. One is disease incidence, another is disease severity. This intensity is the very generic term to describe the amount of disease. It's not technical term. Technically, we use disease incidence, and severity. This is simple. Incidence is the proportion or the percentage of plants. It's what proportion of plants out of total number of plants. Okay, what number of plants out of total number of plants in the field is infected? That's so simple. So look, if in the field you have plants, just that, and then 1,000 plants are infected. So what is the level of severity? 20%. So this is the disease incidence. 20% is the incidence. Good. So now severity, incidence, severe, the word severity, you say that severe means the strength, how the magnitude of infection, the strength of damage, you could say. So look at here. So if we have like how this, if you consider a leaf, if we consider the whole green tissue is 100%, then out of what percentage is damaged? Look at here, the brown diseased area, color is 10%. For example, it's for example, it's a get damaged, 10% got damaged, 30% got damaged, 65% got damaged, 7% got damaged. So what would be the can you put in the chat box what would be the percentage of severity here? Please put in the chat box quickly in few seconds. Okay, so I got some answer. Look at here, the area, this could be relative area or absolute area of the sampling unit. So now focus on my word. So it's the the area showing the disease symptoms is used as a percentage of infection. So now, if consider in one plant, if it's in one plant, there will be many different leaf. Many leaf in one plant, right? Many leaf in one plant. So if it is so many leaf in one plant. So if this leaf has 10% and that leaf has 20% and this leaf has 30%, okay, so and it goes and goes on and maybe 65%, 70%, what is the average amount of brown tissue, for example, or damaged tissue out of total? Like if it's 10% in this leaf, 20%, 30%, something like this, what is the average? That would be the answer. The average, we always go for average. Average number of tissue got damaged. It's the severity in a particular plant. Now, can we calculate now? What would be the severity here? Can you put in the chat box again? I'm asking a few more. I got only one answer. So that's good. Look at here. So so leaf area disease is a LAD, and that's the answer, real answer. That means my explanation later worked. Means you got the idea. What is the average of the number of tissue damage is the severity of disease. So thank you so much. Congratulations, you passed. And then the test again here. What is the primary focus in a plant pathology? Can I put that answer again in the chat box? What would be the answer? 1, 2, 3, 4. Be proactive. Do it quickly. So we have to think of the severity here, not the incidence. So now explain a bit the proportion of diseased plants in a population. Now focus on me, then that will be clear. So the proportion of diseased plant, it basically means how many plants, out of how many plants are infected. So this is incidence, it's not severity here. And then what about the absolute number of diseased cases in the field? Means how many plants are infected. This is nothing, it's neither incidence nor severity, because we're just counting the number of plants. So we can negate that, with of infected leaves plant. That means in one you have 10 plants, 10 leaves, and 5 leaves are infected and other 5 not infected. Is it the definition of severity here? Look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infected, but we don't know how many total live here. So here, the percentage of infected leaf on a plant is nothing. So we can negate here. It's not percentage of infected leaf out of, so it's the percentage of symptomatic area on the sampling unit. If the sampling unit is the leaf, if it's a plant, is a plant. So symptomatic area. So how much of a damage this area is, that should be the answer. Did you get the idea, by the way? It's a chat box, yes or no? Yes, I got the idea. Good. Yes. The methods of approaches for data collection for the development of forecasting models. So what approaches are collection? Two different approaches. I'm not saying different in the sense that they're discrete or they're exclusively different, but they're different in the sense that we have different kind of objectives, we have different kind of thinking in our mind. So the thing is, what we do here when we say approaches or techniques is we gather data or collect data, we analyze the pattern, we then make the prediction. It's not the approaches here, but it's the extension of the previous two. And then the thing is empirical and experimental. The empirical, it comes from real world evidence. When anything you said the empirically we found, or there's an empirical evidence, means the real world evidence rather than experimental proof. So when something we call experimental, this is basically you design your own experiments based on some principles and to get the information or impact of one factor to other. So we controlled many things, and then you get the evidence of some correlation or regression to say, is it true or is it false? We have some hypothesis in here, and then you design your own experiment. It's supposed to be is, not it. So is it true? Something like this. I made a mistake here. So we have to understand clearly here what's empirical thing, what's experimental thing. So empirical thing is something happening in the real world. We just go and get the data, and then we analyze in the lab. And the experimental is, okay, we bring the plants, or if it is animals, it's animals, or peoples plus peoples. Oh, really? Do you have class at 2:30?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Maybe. Okay, I should stop here because I already consumed some of the time. This is my bad. I I should say sorry about that because I took some of your time anymore because we have you. Did I check your attendance? No.
No,
Hmm.
sir.
So maybe we can take the attendance. Please remind me in the next class. So when you take the attendance, if you were present, just let me know that I was present in that last class. How many I can see here now is how many?
75, sir.
75. So either your CR could send me out the name of this person, or maybe in the next class we can count that. Okay. And just want to stop here because we are getting prepared for other classes. Thank you so much for joining here.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Assalam.
Salam.